everyone, welcome back to my Musical Moments with Marta channel. Here on YouTube, I share with you my performances as well as lessons. Today I am talking about Bruch Violin Concerto in G minor. This is a video number 4. So if you'd like to watch any of the previous videos, this is the first movement and I'm going through it slowly. So this is the 4th video. You can see it in the link up above if you'd like to watch the first video. So here we are now in the development section of the first movement. I talked about measure 84 and 85 on my last video, video number 3, and I'd like to revisit that a little bit. So I'm going to start at measure 83 and just remind you about some of the double stop practices. So in order to get those double stops to sound good, there are many different ways you can practice them. So for example, in measure 83, so we're in second position here, first finger on that 5th. Now the 5th is kind of a crazy animal of itself, so you have to make sure that your strings are in tune, of course, but then you have to maneuver your finger, whichever finger you're using. You may have to flatten it more or move your hand a little bit around. So your main gauge is your ear, of course. So you want to make sure that it is in tune. So I flatten my finger and I hope for the best. So I do practice. Actually, another way to practice 5th is practice scales in 5ths. That is a rare thing that people do, but I remember once working on the Bartók Violin Concerto, and I really needed to practice those 5ths because there were a whole bunch of 5th scales. So consider that. Consider playing practicing scales, any kind of scale, just to get your hand and ear familiar with those intervals. Okay, another way to practice double stops that's very effective is practice one note at a time, on one string at a time. So I would actually play both notes with the fingers, but play only on the lower string. So for example, in measure 83, except then it's the 6th. So all I'm worried about is tuning those notes, right? Those lower notes. But I am fingering both. So on the first one we have a 5th, then we have a minor 6th, then we have a major 6th. Okay, so that's the first step I would take. After that, you can do the top note. After that, you can practice separate each note twice. So for example, if you're up to the point where you're playing double stops, and then go back up. I really like to go up and down the scale or arpeggio, so I know it both directions. Okay, so you can continue with that kind of idea for the next few measures, and these are now 3-note chords in measure 84 and 85, which takes a lot more work because you have to deal with basically 2 double stops. So like in measure 83, that first one with the sforzaro, but this one is broken and it's only held with the top 2 notes. Well, it's a minor 7th, so again, practice just a lower voice. You can practice that with that open string. And the next one is a 6th, so again, the C doesn't change. Measure 84, we have that C in the middle on the second the second finger on the A string. That C keeps coming back for several how many notes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times we have that C. If you can follow my drift here, at measure 83, the first time we have that C is on the 6th note in the measure, right? The 6th, 8th note. So now, the other notes around it change, so that's going to make that C react, and you're going to have some fingerings to deal with. So measure 84, see that C, Now that C is going to turn into a third finger because we have to have F sharp on the E string, which is going to be with the second finger. And I already talked about that on my previous video, but just to reiterate, because it's not easy. So the third note of 84 is that D7, and then F sharp. So see, my fingers are all kind of crunched up there. But the C stays the same, so you could practice just the C. Let's go, let's see, measure 84. What if you played all the notes with the left hand, but played with the bow only on the A string? So it would sound like this. This is the third one here with the F sharp. It's still a C, then we have a different chord, and then this is the third beat, so fifth, eighth note, still a C, but I'm changing fingerings around it, right? So it's a little complicated, but if you can listen for that C, okay, and that's it. And then the last two eighth notes open up a little bit more to bigger intervals. So, okay, so we tune the bottom, and then major 7. So you have an octave, yeah? And then on the third note of 85 would be B natural and C natural. So I use second finger, slide up and down. Okay, if you have any other questions about these chords, please message me or request another video of sorts, because this one all by itself could take a long time. Private lesson, video, Zoom lessons, I do that as well. And this is, so you have 2 fourths, 2 interval of a fourth, C, F, and then B flat. So it's a little tricky for your ear, but take one at a time. Tune that one up. You could put the B flat down just so you can feel the stretch. C, C, F, B flat. So there's a little bit of a stretch there with the lower fingers. And then you can practice the top. Okay? Now the other aspect of this whole section is, of course, the right hand. So when you have the chords, you want to be further away from the bridge so you can play 3 notes simultaneously. So you could practice that just without the notes. Just you can go back and forth, but that's a little bit more rolled. So make sure your arm is nice and relaxed, but concentrated in the middle, on the middle string. But stay away from the bridge, so you have, the strings are closer together there. Okay, let's go on a little bit more, and let's go to measure 86. So now another fun section begins, which is some runs and interesting little patterns. So we have okay, this is not actually my bowing here. Let's see. That's right. And then I go down bow here and do the same. Okay, so what tricky part here is that the fingers are getting faster and faster, but still make sure that that the intonation is good. So we have all these really close half steps there, and the composer puts an accent there. So the drama kind of begins. There's a roll to it. So and that's slurred in. Then you have to stretch. So you have a ta 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 2 triplets. So, and these are not easy because you have to deal with the higher fingers, right? The third and the fourth finger. So my advice would be to do some Schradek or something with the scales that involve those back fingers as well as the lower fingers. All right. I just wanted to take a little pause and let you know about the videos that are available to you on this channel. So if you'd like to go back to the first video, I already mentioned that earlier in this video. but there's also a second video of the Bruch, of the first movement. So I'm going to put that up above, the link above. And so please check it out. Before you get into this section, you may want to check out the other parts of the movement. Okay, so let's go back. Now we are in measure 88. So now we have a chord. So whenever you think of a chord that's in a section that's so quick, you really have to be ready for the bottom two notes immediately. So in measure 87, we had, right? It goes all the way to, don't wait for that chord. So in this case, we have a fifth, which is a little bit difficult to tune as always, but fortunately it goes by pretty quickly. But I would recommend, again, practicing scales in fifths to get those fifths strengthened and strengthen your ear as well. So, and then we have an open A. So that chord goes by very quick, but I personally break them in half here. So, and it comes immediately after that run. And then we have a couple more runs. So we have some nice open strings here we can use, so that keeps the hand nice and free. Almost like a little trill. In this edition, which is the Francescati edition, International, he puts third finger on that C sharp. I don't feel a need for it personally, because we are not using second finger. If there was a second finger coming up in the next group, I would worry about that, using second finger on the C sharp, but I personally just go, maybe because there was a second finger right before, and he feels like this gets it over there quicker if you use the third finger. That's what marked. It's marked as a third finger on the C sharp. Let's try it. Yeah, I can see the reason. There is a little bit more connection when you use the third finger, because then you can go from G to C sharp without having to make a space and have a little bit more noise in between. So I can see that. I have personally not done it before. Maybe I'll try it in the future. I kind of like it. That second finger makes your hand have to move more active. So that's a little harder. That's interesting. It's nice to discover something new. So I would practice it, if you're first learning it, practice it separate. Then you can practice it 3 notes. And recognize the patterns. Right? So you have some patterns there. I'm just checking my time here. And remember, we have string crossings. So all that is going to come into play. But go slowly first. All separate. You can do rhythms. Now this next measure, I'm going to finish, I think, at the end of this measure for this video, and then we'll go on to the next video for the remaining section of the development. All right, so measure 89, that's a tricky one because it goes by very fast, but what I do is I divide it into 2 groups. That first long 11-note passage. I divide it into 6 plus 5. So it goes like this. And then some people go, you can go either way, either 5 and 6 or 6 and 5. I like 6 and 5 because it gives me the entire no, it just seems to sound better to me. And then, so in any way you divide it, it is a diminished, fully diminished chord. So that means they're all minor thirds. and that C sharp with the fourth finger is maybe a little bit tricky. And then, so you could do like triplets, or you can do different groupings. Just come up with, make sure you know what you're doing. So like you could say one rhythm, that would be one rhythm. Then you can go, then you can go, you can finish there, then reverse. So different things like that. I also like to sometimes stop or not play all the notes. Like I could go just B flats, different things like this. So be creative about the exercises, and then eventually you're gonna have to put it all in one bow. So the left hand has to be nice and quick and close to the string. And then the scale, okay. So then you have D minor harmonic, because we have B flat and C sharp, D. It's interesting because it's like a D major with the minor harmonic ending. So it's a combination of strings, but you have C sharp, F sharp, okay. I need to check that one more time. So it's C sharp, C sharp, D. So it's basically a D scale of some sort with a D minor harmonic ending. But you have to be sure that you can do that last octave. And I would go up and down. And then you can add the others. Because it's two groups. How he writes it is a little complicated. Third beat of 89 is a sextuplet, so tam taka taka, tam taka taka. And then the last beat is 8 notes to a beat, so taka 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 tam. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1. Okay, but eventually it's going to be a smooth one bow. So let me stop here before it gets even more complicated. So if you're interested in some more videos, and I would encourage you to watch the first 3 that come before this video. So I already gave you links for the first 2. The third one is going to be up above, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.